This is a map of the Mafia Index in Italy. And right here, that's Naples. This other map shows mafia-related homicides for 2010 and 11. And again, Naples is right here with 20 plus in just 2 years. Over the past few days, I've experienced the truly scenic and well-known parts of Italy. Everything from hiking in Cinque Terre to visiting the Colosseum in Rome. But today, I'm gonna see another part of Italy that no one normally talks about. I'm going to Naples. The goal is to sleep in the cheapest hostel, go see the ancient Pompeii, and then eat the world's most authentic and delicious pizza. After all that, I'm flying to London, where I'm having a 9-hour layover and plan to see as much of the city as possible. Hi, I'm Vigo, an 18-year-old adventurer. 2 weeks ago, I landed in Barcelona, Spain. The only thing I planned was return ticket from Naples, Italy 2 weeks later, and an interrail ticket allowing me free train travel in the region. You now join me in the final episode of the whole trip. I hope you enjoy. In last week's episode, I explored Rome and got on a train towards Naples. In this episode, we continue right where we left off, just before arriving in Naples, Italy. They say that the further south you go in Italy, the cheaper and slower the pace of life becomes, but people are also, in general, worse financially set there. Poverty and crime rates are a lot higher. And over the next few days, I was about to experience just that, starting from the moment I stepped off the train. I grabbed a bite to eat in the train station and went on my way out of one of the main entrances to the station. In both directions, the street served as living quarters for the homeless. One thing is the scene of this, but the smell, it was unbearable. Alright, I've made it to Naples now. I just got a little something to eat because I'm planning to eat dinner at the hostel, but that isn't until 8 o'clock, I think. But this was the first thing I saw when I came out from the station, and people were sleeping there. In general, it seems like quite a weird place. Yeah, I'm just trying to make it to my hostel. The walk to my hostel was gonna be about a 20-minute walk, and it was just total chaos. The city looked like it wasn't ever cleaned. Cars were parked in all places possible, on the crosswalk, in the middle of every intersection, and on the sidewalk.
Very good parking.
If a car from a side street wanted to go on the main street, it would just force itself in. It seemed like every single driver would make use of their horn on average at least 50 times an hour.
This is wild. And different, at least.
There were construction work everywhere, constantly forcing you out onto the traffic-infested streets. At one point, I walked behind the scooter on the sidewalk, trying to squeeze through between a parked lane and some construction.
The smells in the city, it's crazy. Yeah, I've made it to the hostel and I got checked in. For some reason I have to wear this wristband. Got my room number and my bed number and stuff like that. I got in the room, someone was sleeping in that bed. So I went down to the reception again and she changed me to another room, and this room is I have the bottom bunk and I have this much room. So this is me in the bed. I don't fit. It's impossible to sit up straight. Very fun. But yeah, it gives you time. The area is also just weird. There's a highway just above me, and I didn't know Naples was this sketchy. I just spoke to someone who is sleeping in this room, and he told me the crime rates are crazy in Naples, and I didn't know Naples was such a bad place. Otherwise I wouldn't have come here. Is that... Yeah, I think that's mold on the wall. Yeah, I don't know. This place is crazy. But luckily for me, I have 2 nights here, so yeah. Gonna be a fun one, but I think I'll just relax a bit and then head for some dinner. I was actually hoping to explore a bit of the city tonight, but yeah, I'll just relax and then I'll see what the day brings. Tomorrow I'm going to Pompeii, so I'm looking forward to that at least. So I just checked the price for this hostel. It was actually only 10 euros a night, but the reviews was very great and the pictures looked much better than this does. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's probably fine. But these are the walls. Does not look crazy good.
Yeah, the room was filled with mold, but at least a stranger wasn't sleeping in this bed.
Okay, what the hell is this too? This is so weird. There's no lighting and the height of this is like it cuts off here. So, yeah.
Also, as you might have noticed, there was no toilet seat.
So I discovered that the best toilet is this outhouse, and it is filled with mosquitoes. The floor is wet, but it has a real toilet seat, and the roof is tall enough for me to stand on here. But that's kind of it. I hope the dinner is good at least. I'm going now.
I didn't get any video of the food, but doesn't this just look so appetizing? There were no options. This was what you got. A bowl of pasta with a creamy sauce. This is starting to remind me more and more of a prison. Well, actually no. When I stayed the night in a previous actual prison in Switzerland, everything was at least 100 times better than this.
It's Switzerland's former toughest prison, and I just slept in one of the former prison cells. Was actually better than it looked, but yeah, pretty simple. But yeah, unless anything eventful happens tonight, then yeah, that's it.
Luckily, nothing too eventful happened. So, the next day I woke up and got a lift to the train station. On my way there, I literally spotted a guy riding a horse carriage down the streets. This place, man. I got out of the car just next to the train station and spotted a Naples roundabout. As you might have guessed, in a roundabout in Naples, you don't wait your turn for traffic to clear and you don't yield for anyone. You just gotta close your eyes, go for it and hope for the best.
Alright, I just used the Hostel's free shuttle service to the train station because I'm going to Pompeii, and yeah, people drive like crazy here. It's honestly insane. I saw someone riding a horse. Yeah, and it just seems very stressful. Even the driver from the hostel drives like crazy. It seems like people just go for it. And also, still a lot of homeless people. It smells so bad in front of the station. But yeah, I'll get some breakfast now, and then I'll leave on a train for Pompeii.
You might say I'm making too big a deal out of all this, and perhaps I am, but coming from one of the safest countries in the world, it was a big contrast to what I'm used to.
Got some breakfast and some coffee, and I think I'm on the right platform. Alright, I've made it to Pompeii now, but Pompeii is just like a normal city, and the old part of it, like the ruins, is about 20 minutes from this station, so yeah, I'll have a little bit of a walk.
I had to stop at a gas station to fuel up on some water, cause it was boiling hot today.
Alright, I've made it to the ruins of Pompeii, but it is very hot here. Alright, I gotta tell you guys, the ticket I got is normally I think 26 or 28 euros. I got it for 2 euros because I'm an EU citizen and because I'm under the age of 25. It's incredible. It seems like there's a lot of advantages to being only 18. But if you don't know the story of Pompeii, it's an old Roman city, and the volcano you see behind me erupted about 2000 years ago, and it covered this whole city in ashes and volcanic debris and stuff like that. And it killed everyone here, and then it wasn't rediscovered before the 18th century, I think, where they started digging and found this whole city. So that's quite incredible, and also quite tragic that the whole city was just like covered and everyone died thanks to this volcano. But yeah, the volcano erupted in 71 AD maybe. So yeah, almost 2000 years ago. That's incredible. And I'm just walking around this Roman old city. It's quite unbelievable actually.
What makes the lost city of Pompeii so special is how well preserved it is. Being buried in a 7-meter thick layer of ash shielded the whole city from air and moisture for centuries. The Vesuvius eruption of 79 AD itself is said to be the most famous volcanic event in human history. Vesuvius violently ejected a cloud of superheated thermopyran gases to a height of 33 kilometers, ejecting molten rock, pulverized pumice and hot ash at 1.5 million tons per second, ultimately releasing 100,000 times the thermal energy of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Today, it remains one of the most significant natural disasters of human history.
I actually remember learning about Pompeii back in school like 8 or 9 years ago, so it's quite incredible like being here in real life. Like, yeah, I don't know, probably wouldn't have imagined that like 8 years ago. But these stones, which looks like pedestrian crossings or something, I think I heard something about it being because the road was like covered in horse shit and stuff. So yeah, they built those things. I don't know. It is crazy how well preserved this place is just because of the volcanic eruption. These houses are literally like 2,000 years old. That's incredible. I also did the research about the roads. It's kind of true with the pedestrian crossings, but it's also because they used to use the road as like a water sewage thing. Yeah. So yeah, it prevented people from having to step down in the dirt, and the horses could still like pass through. There's like marks from the wheels in the stones. Right, I was like using an audio guide from the app from Pompeii, but it didn't work that well. So I decided to go on Google and just find a good list of places to see here, because it's like a massive place. So now I have a like top 8 or something. Number 1. This is the oldest known Roman amphitheater, so it's quite incredible, and it actually like hosted a Pink Floyd concert, so that's quite impressive. They have a whole like museum about it.
Pink Floyd actually had a concert here with no audience for a film they were making back in 1971. This was the first performance to occur in this theater since the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD at the time of the ancient Romans. 45 years later, in 2016, they came back and performed a real concert here with an audience of only about 3,000 people. This time, it was the first time since the eruption that an audience had been gathered for a performance in the world's oldest amphitheater. Nowadays, in the walls of the amphitheater, Pink Floyd music is playing and pictures from the first concert in 1971 are shown on TVs.
But yeah, the oldest known Roman amphitheater, so yeah, that's quite incredible. But that was number 1 out of maybe 5, I don't know, it's on the screen I guess. And number 2, this is the Palestra Grande, I think it's pronounced like that, I don't know. But this used to be like a gym place, I guess, where people were like exercising and stuff, because even back then they knew that it was healthy to be exercising. Wow, this is kind of incredible. Just a normal street and then the destruction of the whole town just in the background. Wow, you can really tell, like in some places, the volcanic effect on the stones. And number 3, these are some very well preserved casts of the people who died here. So when they started digging and they found bones,
there would always be these hollows around the bones that they filled with plaster.
And then they were able to create these casts around these people, which is quite incredible. So now we know exactly how these people were formed. But the more tragic part of this is that there is like casts of kids and infants and stuff like that. So yeah. Wow, this road looks crazy. It's probably been used quite a lot. Alright, moving on to number 4. This is the gladiator barracks where they used to store all the gladiator slaves. And it's not difficult to imagine the slaves living in these small boxes and then training out in this big courtyard. Amazing. That was number 4. Alright, it's gonna be a top 5 because the last place I wanted to show you was closed, so yeah. But this is number 5, the final place I'm gonna show you. And it's the Forum of Pompeii, just like in Rome yesterday. I'm sorry, I just had to get some snacks, but yeah. The Forum is like a meeting point or like a town square and we're often used like as a marketplace and stuff like that. But yeah, this one has a great view of the volcano, just so everyone could wake up every day and see the volcano that would eventually become their death, but they obviously didn't know that at the time.
The volcano, Mount Vesuvius, actually used to be much larger, but from all of its eruptions, it's partially collapsed. Before the eruption in 79 AD, Vesuvius likely looked something like this. The last time Vesuvius erupted was during the Second World War in 1944.
It's quite incredible actually how much of the city is like touchable and stuff like that. Like you can just walk around things and yeah, and I feel like it's not gonna stay that way forever.
What I'm trying to say is, in a museum you can normally only experience ancient history with your eyes. But here you can go around touching the same pillars and even paintings that the ancient Romans did more than 2000 years ago.
I guess we could kind of call this place number 6 because it's the Basilica of Pompeii, but it's right next to the Forum. But yeah, this used to be a basilica. Wow. So that's the end of the Forum, and yeah, this is the basilica. It actually looks quite amazing.
I'd now spent more than 4 hours exploring Pompeii, and I had still only discovered a fraction of the ruins. A third of the ancient Pompeii has actually not even been uncovered from the 7-meter thick layer of ashes and debris. Before the eruption of 79 AD, Pompeii had an estimated population of about 20,000 people.
And I'm now exiting out into the real world again now.
I traveled 2000 years back to the future and went down to catch the Circumvesuviana, which take you along the coast, around Vesuvius and back into Naples. When I got back to Naples, I found myself in this seemingly endless escalator descent into the depths of the deep underground metro system.
I don't have to look no further, 'cause I've reached my destination. I used to be lost, but now I'm found. As long as I know.
Wow. This underground is so deep, and for some reason I couldn't find any escalators. So I'm taking the stairs and I'm out of breath because it is so far underground. But yeah, I would have liked to go up on the volcano, but I should have planned better then. But yeah, wasn't possible. Maybe if I had planned a little better and come out of bed a bit earlier. But I do also have to get up at around 3 a.m. tomorrow to catch a plane to London. But as you might know, pizza actually originates from Naples, and I'm actually on my way to eat some good and delicious pizza at one of the most famous pizza places in the whole of Naples. So I am looking forward to this, but also I think it's gonna be very busy. There is so many people standing in line, but yeah, I got a number 71, and the number right now is 49, so it's gonna be quite a while, but it should be the best in town.
Ready, yeah, yeah. This time I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for the good times to begin.
While waiting my turn, I could see them handcrafting the pizzas in the kitchen.
And I ain't gonna stop. I won't fight it.
I'm not really proud of this, but I ended up standing in line for the better part of an hour. But was it worth it?
Alright, that was the best pizza I've ever had. Like, honestly, I saw a video about the place and that's actually why I came there. I thought he was overstating it, but definitely not. That was definitely the best pizza in the world. But I'm honestly surprised. I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I've never ever in my life tasted a pizza that good. But they were also just only selling like 4 different pizzas, and one of them was just a combination of two of the others, because it's like only the most traditional ones. It's also just a very traditional place and a very authentic place to get pizza. Like, the place has existed for more than 100 years, and as I said, pizza is from Naples, so couldn't get more authentic than that. Also, the price is €5 for a pizza. That's crazy. But now I have to walk all the way back to the hostel, and I'm further away than the station now, so it's gonna be like, I don't know, 40 minutes, and I have a plane to catch, and I have to get up in 7 hours from now. I just realized I was walking in the wrong direction after like 5 minutes or so that doesn't help. I did also forget my jacket this morning, so it's quite cold, but yeah. And also I look less intimidating for all the gangsters, but yeah. Oh, it's all right. Phew. I am trying so hard to look just a tiny bit intimidating. I don't know. Well, if anyone is watching this and considering traveling to Naples, I will not recommend walking around. There's a lot of sketchy people, a lot of homeless people, and the cars drive like crazy, and they do not care whether or not you're on a zebra crossing or anything. You just have to like go for it if you want to cross the road. But also, I would not recommend driving here. Yeah, again, people drive like crazy. And public transport is literally garbage here. It's so bad. In conclusion, you can't really get around here easily. But Pompeii is beautiful and amazing, and the volcano is probably also really worth a visit. And they got the best pizza in the world here, so yeah, I don't know. Alright, I'm almost at the hostel now. Wait, was that a dead rat? I don't know, I'm not gonna check. Probably was though. I went the wrong direction again. I felt like this didn't feel familiar, but yeah, I don't know, it's dark. But this is where I'll be walking in, I guess, 6 hours if I decide to walk to the airport. I don't know if I've said this yet, but there's literally a highway over our hostel. Highway, my hostel. Alright, I'm actually a little surprised, but I made it back safe and actually alive. That's kind of impressive, but yeah. I guess I'll just get ready to get to bed and leave early tomorrow morning. I'm quite tired right now, so yeah. See you tomorrow.
The next morning, I woke up early. I brushed my teeth and packed up my stuff.
Hello. Good morning. Yeah, exactly. I'm checking out.
Let me help you.
Yeah.
Did you also book a taxi?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Okay, you're video, right?
Yeah, exactly.
By taxi, he actually meant he was both the receptionist on duty at 5 AM and the taxi driver.
Here?
Yeah.
And the airport is...
There goes my taxi. I'm almost at the airport. Alright, I'm going home, but before that I'm going to London, and I just found out yesterday that I am completely out of money and out of cell phone data and almost out of storage on my phone to film. So this is kind of like a challenge video with like no money for 24 hours, but it's actually real, so yeah.
We can do better. We could be chasing dreams. We know what's right, and we know how to feel.
I had about €5 as a deposit from my hostel, so bought a cup of coffee and this traditional Naples pastry thing.
Luckily, I didn't have to pay for a bottle of water.
That is pretty smart. 35,000 bottles saved. Wow.
We know what's up.
After having spent a bit less than an hour at the airport, it was finally time to head out to the shuttle, which was gonna bring us to the plane.
Just put us to the test.
By the time we were finally ready to take off, the morning sun was starting to show its colors behind the volcano. And with that, we were off.
A little every day. We can make it better.
I waved a final goodbye to Vesuvius before I buckled up for a 2-hour flight to Luton.
We can do better. We can be setting go. We understand right down to the soul that we can do better. We can have a heart of gold.
Flying in over the fields north of London, I could tell I was in for a cold one. After strolling around in a t-shirt in Pompeii yesterday, I would now have to prepare myself for the late British winter temperatures, as this is still in the middle of February.
No, it's true. If we just give ourselves a chance, we can show the world.
I jumped on the driverless Luton Dart Shuttle, which takes you to the Luton railway station. I got on a wheel train and soon rolled into London.
We can make it better.
This is literally a train station in the middle of a bridge.
Alright, I've officially made it to the UK and to London. This is my first, real time here. I did have a layover in London Stansted a little under a year ago, and I had to get out of the airport, but I never made it into the actual city. So this is my first real time visiting London and the UK. And I tell you, it is so weird seeing cars driving on the left of the road. It is so confusing. Every time you want to cross the road, you're like, oh, cars coming from that direction instead. Also, you just know you're in London when you see this. But yeah, I have under 4 hours in the center of London, so I'm just gonna explore the tiny little bit I can. But I'm almost at the London Bridge now, and I can see the Tower of London. It's actually just right behind me, both of them. But I'm also very hungry. There it is. It's a little bit funny, that's the flag of Genoa that England stole from Italy.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go and watch episode 6 and learn how England got its flag.
Come tend the garden with me. We have so many seeds to sow. When the harvest comes in, it will be time to share what we have grown. We were having the time.
And that's the Tower of London.
Everything was groovy.
Oh, and by the way, it's freezing in London. I was almost thinking, how in the world can they live with these temperatures? But then I remembered that it's the exact same temperatures back home in Denmark, so yeah. I guess I know what's coming for me. Oh, and the language. It is so nice to be in a country where everything is just in English and understandable. But the accent, you do have to get used to that very British accent.
Till liked everything but the likes of me. I can't help but recall. We were having
It seems as though these people are digging for something on the banks of the River Thames, but for what, I have no idea.
I have no idea about what was going on there. So yeah, this is the Millennium Bridge, which is destroyed in the Harry Potter movies, but I think I watched a video about it being engineered very badly or something, I don't know.
pretty anymore.
I was just about to walk over the bridge, but first I had to see the 22nd biggest church in the world, which I promised in episode 9.
And that's St. Paul's Cathedral, I think. Don't know much about it, don't have that much time to research everything, so I'm just quickly walking around the city.
Noticing lately we've been half-hearted. West Side Story don't feel pretty.
On the opposite side of the bridge, we have
Shakespeare's Globe.
Lives when we started. Everything was
Got myself some food. The sandwich is actually very, very good. Wow. And there we got Big Ben. Wait, that's not what it's called. London Eye. And Big Ben in all of its glory. It looks both bigger and smaller at the same time than what I'd imagined. But yeah.
don't feel pretty. West Side Story don't feel pretty anymore.
on Westminster Bridge. I listened to Dust in the Wind.
monde sont bien sérieux.
Then I took in the spectacular view of the Houses of Parliament before Big Ben started making a bit of noise. Then I spotted a Scot who'd gotten lost and found himself in enemy territory. At the end of Westminster Bridge was of course Westminster Abbey, who also fancied making a bit of noise.
That is Westminster Abbey, and it's officially been a bit over 2 hours since I got into the center of London. I love the fact that they need to put in these signs.
A quick stroll through St. James's Park led me to the next location.
And that's Buckingham Palace.
At Buckingham Palace, depending on which flag is flown, you can know whether the Queen is home or not, and I knew that, but I just didn't know which flag meant what thing. So I googled which flag means the Queen is home. And it was only by then that it occurred to me that she wouldn't be home anytime soon, as she died almost 2 years earlier. Whoops. After looking at some iconic red London double-decker buses, I found another little iconic British thing that had seen better days for sure.
Alright, my final planned stop in London is Hyde Park, where I am right now. And they're doing some renovation, I guess. There was a sign that said that they were like changing it up to look like it used to, I think. I don't know. But I just came to think about the fact that yesterday at this exact time I was on my way to Pompeii, and right now I'm in the middle of Hyde Park in London, and in a few hours I'll be back home in Denmark suddenly. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm definitely gonna miss traveling. It's the best thing in the whole world, if you ask me. Alright, I am now at the airport. A lot has happened. I was in Hyde Park. I sat down on a bench and a stranger came up to me and started talking to me, and we just started chatting. It ended up with him going with me on the train to the airport with the underground. So I've now been in the London Underground. Didn't film any of it because we were talking the whole way. We made it to the train station, got on a train all the way out to the airport, and then we went to a hotel and sat in the lounge because he used to fly private jets, so he knew the hotel and knew that you could just walk in and sit in the lounge without staying at the hotel. So yeah, then I went to the airport. The line to security was crazy long. I think we stood in line in 30 minutes or something, but it was also because they are like testing some completely new gear and machines for security here, which means that you don't have to take anything out of your bags. You can bring unlimited water, and when you go through the metal detector, you also walk on something that makes a 3D image of your shoes, and it's crazy, but it took a long time. And I started chatting with a family in the line who were just in front of me, and yeah, I helped them through the airport, and they were in a bit of a hurry, and I've been flying a lot and kind of used to being in airports, and I've been to this airport before, so yeah, I helped them a bit. But now my flight is in 45 minutes or something. I can definitely take this thing off now, if I can get it off. Wow, it's the one from the hostel that for some reason you had to have on for the entirety of your stay. Yeah, there you go. My gate is supposed to close in 5 minutes, but I had to get some dinner, so I did have plenty of time, but I kind of wasted it. Didn't know the 40 gates were so far away. Plenty of time. 2 minutes, but yeah, they haven't started boarding.
After 15 days of intense traveling, which honestly felt like a whole month, I stepped onto the plane. Just like I stepped onto a plane 2 weeks ago, flying to Barcelona, feeling a bit overwhelmed and culture shook that first evening. This time stepping onto the plane though, I was so many memories, experiences and connections richer. You've already seen and heard of a few of the people I've met throughout my trip, but as I don't feel comfortable filming strangers, there are so many other people that I've connected with on this trip. In almost every single hostel I've stayed in, I've talked to people of all ages and nationalities and had deep conversations. One of the most remarkable was the illegal immigrant Shell, whom I met in Avignon and talked with for hours. Other than the people, it also feels like I've experienced all 4 seasons on this trip. From walking in a t-shirt in the warm sun in Barcelona and dipping my toes in the ocean in the border town near France, to the freezing morning in Carcassonne, back to going for a dip in Nice, to the wet and rainy experience of Cinque Terre, which felt more like autumn. Another reason for why I'm getting so sentimental now is that this trip has literally taken me the better part of 2 years to edit. Spoiler alert, I'm no longer 18, I've started my early 20s now. I personally feel like I've changed so much from the person you've just watched travel for 15 days. And you can probably tell how much my style in editing and storytelling has changed over these 11 episodes. The first episode is literally the first video where I started gluing these videos together by voiceovers, which I've now been doing for 2 years. Before we land back in my cold and windy home country of Denmark and hear the remaining few words from this younger version of me, here's a quick recap of the past 15 days.
Good morning. I'm running to watch the sunrise at the castle. I just went by a fire in the middle of the road. What the hell was that? Ciao.
Welcome. I'm Sana from Finland.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Alright, let's get this plane on the ground, shall we?
Alright, I finally made it home. The Interrail journey is officially over. I am so tired. I just ate some dinner up at my mom's house and I'm now entering my apartment. I'm so tired. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
I think someone was happy seeing me. I sure was happy seeing him, my little golden star who's always there waiting for me when I get home from my travels, and the reason why it isn't that bad coming home after all.